At about 9,000 feet, as we turned inbound on the target, our warning lights flashed, and the tone for enemy radar started sounding so loudly, I had to turn down the volume. I could see huge clouds of smoke and dust erupt on the ground as SAMs were fired at us. The closer we came to the target, the fiercer were the defenses. For the first time in combat, I saw thick black clouds of anti-aircraft flak everywhere, images familiar to me only from World War II movies. A SAM appears as a flying telephone pole, moving at great speed. We were now maneuvering through a nearly impassable obstacle course of anti-aircraft fire and flying telephone poles. They scared the hell out of me. 22 missiles were fired at us that day. One of the F-8s on the strike was hit. The pilot, Charlie Rice, managed to eject safely. I recognized the target sitting next to the small lake from the intelligence photos I had studied. I dove in on it just as the tone went off, signaling that a SAM was flying toward me. I knew I should roll out and fly evasive maneuvers, jinking in flyers' parlance, when I heard the tone. An A-4 can outmaneuver a tracking SAM, but I was just about to release my bombs when the tone sounded, and had I started jinking, I would never have had the time nor probably the nerve to go back in once I had lost the SAM. So at about 3,500 feet, I released my bombs, then pulled back the stick to begin a steep climb to a safer altitude. In the instant before my plane reacted, a SAM blew my right wing off. I was killed. I knew I was hit. My A-4, traveling at about 550 miles an hour, was violently spiraling to Earth. In this predicament, a pilot's training takes over. I didn't feel fear or any other excitement than I had already experienced during the run, my adrenaline surging as I dodged SAMs and flak to reach the target. I didn't think, gee, I'm hit, what now? I reacted automatically the moment I took the hit and saw that my wing was gone. I radioed, I'm hit, reached up, and pulled the ejection seat handle. I struck part of the plane, breaking my left arm, my right arm in 3 places, and my right knee, and I was briefly knocked unconscious by the force of the ejection. Witnesses said my chute had barely opened before I plunged into the shallow water of Trukbach Lake. I landed in the middle of the lake, in the middle of the city, in the middle of the day. An escape attempt would have been challenging. I came to when I hit the water. Wearing about 50 pounds of gear, I touched the bottom of the shallow lake and kicked off with my good leg. I did not feel any pain as I broke the surface, and I didn't understand why I couldn't move my arms to pull the toggle on my life vest. I sank to the bottom again. When I broke the surface the second time, I managed to inflate my life vest by pulling the toggle with my teeth. Then I blacked out again. When I came to the second time, I was being hauled ashore on 2 bamboo poles by a group of about 20 angry Vietnamese. A crowd of several hundred Vietnamese gathered around me as I lay dazed before them, shouting wildly at me, stripping my clothes off, spitting on me, kicking and striking me repeatedly. When they had finished removing my gear and clothes, I felt a sharp pain in my right knee. I looked down and saw that my right foot was resting next to my left knee at a 90-degree angle. I cried out, "My God, my leg." Someone smashed a rifle butt onto my shoulder, breaking it. Someone else stuck a bayonet in my ankle and groin. A woman, who may have been a nurse, began yelling at the crowd and managed to dissuade them from further harming me. She then applied bamboo splints to my leg and right arm. It was with some relief that I noticed an army truck arrive on the scene to take me away from this group of aggrieved citizens. The soldiers then placed me on a stretcher, loaded me into the truck, and drove me a few blocks to an ochre-colored, trapezoid-shaped stone structure that occupied 2 city blocks in the center of downtown Hanoi. I was brought in through enormous steel gates, above which was painted the legend, Maison Centrale. I had been shot down a short walk's distance from the French-built prison, Wallow, which the POWs had named the Hanoi Hilton. As the massive steel doors loudly clanked shut behind me, I felt a deeper dread than I have ever felt again.